Hi everyone, this is Cooking with Kurt. Today my husband Donald and I are going to show you how to make a mango bene. Cashew meringue wafers are layered with cream and chunks of mangoes, and it's all frozen. Well, served semi-frozen.
Yum, gotta love that play on creamy and crunchy textures. This recipe was requested by a lot of you. Thanks so much for all your requests, and we hope you like this video.
We recommend making this recipe over 2 days as the cashew meringue wafers have a long baking time. Speaking of, we're going to start by making the cashew meringue wafers. Take 10 eggs and separate into yolks and whites. Let the egg whites come to room temperature and save the 10 egg yolks to use for another dish. Place 2 oven racks, one in the lower third position and one in the upper third position of the oven, and preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. In a sheet pan, add in 2 cups of cashews and spread them out evenly. We're going to toast these cashews on the upper third rack of the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 15 minutes, or until they are golden brown and toasted. Set them aside to cool. Turn down the oven temperature to 225 degrees Fahrenheit, and take 2 large sheet pans, these are 13 by 18 inches, and line the sheet pans with parchment paper. Take the fitted pieces of parchment paper and draw 2 8-inch by 8-inch squares on the parchment paper so that there are 2 squares per pan. I draw the squares using the inside of the bottom of a square dish. There should be 4 squares total. Flip the parchment paper over so the side with the Sharpie marks faces down and away from the meringue wafers. Then take a food processor. Add in the 2 cups of toasted cashews, 1/3 cup of powdered sugar, and 1/4 cup of cornstarch. Pulse this till they are mixed and the cashews are very fine. It should look like a powder. Then in the bowl of your stand mixer, add in the 10 room temperature egg whites. With a whisk attachment, beat on medium speed till the egg whites become frothy. When the eggs look somewhat frothy, increase the speed to medium-high and add in 1 teaspoon of cream of tartar. While continuing to mix, very slowly add in 1/2 cup of granulated sugar, a little at a time. When all the sugar has been added, increase the speed to high and continue beating till you see very stiff, shiny peaks, like this. Detach the bowl from the stand mixer and 1/3 at a time, carefully fold the cashew powder mixture into the meringue mixture, as well as 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, just until everything is evenly mixed and uniform. Dab a little meringue on the corners of the parchment paper so that it doesn't move around or flap up during baking. In a pastry bag fitted with no tip, transfer the cashew meringue mixture. Follow the traced squares on the prepared parchment paper lined baking sheets to pipe 4 8-inch by 8-inch squares. Start at the outer edge of each of the 4 squares, then make a smaller square within each of the 4 squares, and keep going till you fill all 4 squares. If you have excess meringue when you're finished with the squares, that's okay. Just evenly divide the meringue by eye so that the 4 squares have approximately the same amount of meringue mixture in them. Once all the batter has been piped, use an offset spatula or the back of a spoon to smoothen and flatten the tops of the wafers as much as possible.
Place 1 sheet pan on the upper third rack and the other on the lower third rack.
We're going to bake these meringue wafers in our preheated oven at 225 degrees Fahrenheit for 5 hours. Then turn off the oven heat, but do not open the oven door, and leave the meringue wafers in the turned off oven overnight to let them continue drying out. When the wafers are completely dry, they should sound hollow when you tap them, and they will come off the parchment paper quite easily. You can leave them at room temperature uncovered if you're not assembling the cake immediately. The low temperature and long baking time is needed to remove all the moisture from the egg whites and create a hollow and dry wafer without burning the outer layer of the meringue.
On day 2 for this cake, the first thing we're going to do is prep the mangoes. Take 3 fresh ripe mangoes and slice them so you get 6 halves and 3 seed pieces. Take 4 out of the 6 halves and use a big spoon to scoop out the mango flesh, keeping the piece intact. Do this for all 4 halves. With a sharp knife, slice the 4 mango halves cross-sectionally so you end up with slices of mango that are about 1/4 inch thick. Save these for the cake topping. Take the remaining 2 halves and 3 seed pieces. Cut them into small squares using the crisscross method. Set these aside for the filling in between the meringue layers. Next, we're going to make the whipped cream frosting. In the bowl of your stand mixer, add in 8 ounces of cream cheese. With the paddle attachment, whip this on medium-high speed till it is softened. Turn the mixer down to low speed and add in 5 cups of very cold heavy cream, and continue to beat for 1 to 2 minutes till the cream cheese and heavy cream are well incorporated. Stop the mixer and scrape down the bowl and paddle attachment. Add in 1 cup of powdered sugar, 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, and 1 teaspoon of orange zest. Switch to the whisk attachment and slowly increase the speed as the whipped cream thickens up. If you start at a fast speed immediately, the heavy cream may spill over the edges. Continue whipping like this, slowly increasing the mixing speed until the cream forms stiff peaks. It should look something like this. Separate about 3 cups of this frosting, add in the small mango squares and gently fold them in. This will be the filling mixture in between the meringue layers. Leave the remaining frosting in the fridge till you're ready to use it.
Now we're ready to assemble the cake. Take a large flat serving board that's greater than 10 inches in length. This is a 12-inch serving board. Dab a dollop of the frosting in the center of the board so that the cake doesn't slide around. Place the first meringue wafer in the middle of the cake board. Then spread 1/3 of the mango cream mixture on top. Place the second meringue wafer on top and repeat the steps, adding 1/3 of the mango cream mixture. Repeat this with the third meringue wafer and then the last 1/3 of the mango cream mixture. Add the fourth meringue wafer as the final wafer layer. Then frost the sides and the top of this cake with the whipped cream frosting. Smoothen it out with an offset spatula. It's okay if you see some mango or cashew meringue through the whipped cream. This is just to ensure that we have a smooth base surface onto which we can pipe frosting on later. Be sure to save some of the frosting for the side decorations. Next, we're adding the thinly sliced mango pieces that we prepared earlier on top of the cake. I'm arranging them so that they form neat rows of mango slices that slightly overlap with each other. Depending on the size of your mangoes, you can make 2 to 3 rows of mangoes on top, and fill in the sides of the cake with mango slices as needed. Place the cake in the freezer to let the base layer of frosting firm up for about 20 minutes, and store the remaining whipped cream frosting in the fridge. When the base layer of frosting has firmed up in the freezer for 20 minutes, fit a piping bag with a large star tip, I'm using a 1M tip, and transfer the remaining whipped cream frosting into the piping bag. Take the cake out of the freezer and pipe frosting along the sides of the cake, starting at the bottom and going straight up, ending right at the top edge of the cake, and create a little flourish by just pulling the tip up at the end. Try to keep the strips of frosting as close to each other as possible so it looks like a continuous wall with evenly spaced ridges. Repeat this until you've piped these vertical walls of frosting around the entire cake. Store the cake in the freezer till you're ready to serve it. Let the cake defrost at room temperature for about 20 minutes before serving.
This cake is meant to be served semi-frozen.
And there it is, a Mango Bene cake. Semi-frozen layers of crunchy cashew meringue with fresh mangoes and cream in between. Ang sarap.
Yum.
So good. I love that interesting contrast between the crunchy and creamy textures.
And you can never go wrong with fresh mangoes.
Thank you so much for watching. Please let us know in the comment section below if you're planning to make this Mango Bene. Send us pictures of your creations on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, links below. And if you like this video, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to Cooking with Kurt.
And don't forget to click on the bell so you get notified when we post new cooking videos. And for our written recipes and more, be sure to check out cookingwithkurt.com.
Maraming salamat!